The stuff that you learned, it's gonna work. Just be confident. He was like, you belong here though. Trust me. They would not have hired you if they didn't think you could do this, if they didn't think you were gonna be great at it. You belong here. So let's see. First week, it was pretty. You gotta get into tech. Okay, so what's going on, y'all? I'm just gonna come off the dome today. I know I normally have my iPad, but hopefully y'all get some value out of it. I am talking about my first month in tech sales as a sales and business development rep. If you don't know already, those terms are synonymous, SDR or BDR. It really just depends on the company that you end up working with. I am working at a real estate tech company, and so there we call it a business development rep. So I'm a BDR. Basically, my first month, man, it has been really interesting to say the least.
A job. So try to think about that, because I got me a job.
I can't stress enough, tech companies are just different. The way they go about a lot of the things, big or not. My company, they are on the New York Stock Exchange, so they're kind of up there. I've chosen a hybrid role. So 2 days out of the week, I am at the office, and then the rest of the days I'm at home. No one is in the building really on Mondays and Fridays. I do have the option to pick any day to come in. Wednesday is the only solid day, and that's just because that's the day that everyone is in the office. We can have our big team meetings or, one-on-ones. Everything can kind of happen on Wednesday. And I'll tell you more about Wednesdays as well here shortly. So pretty much outside of Wednesday, I can pick any other day to come in, as long as it's 2 times out of the week. Me personally, I choose Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's just easier to go ahead and get that day out of the week. Coming off of the weekend, like tomorrow, Monday, I will be at the house. I will say this, there are whole departments in my company that I have never seen. I had to ask, I'm like, yo, do these people even come in? And they were like, nah. Like they literally never come in. That's because the 2 days a week, the hybrid role, that's specifically for my team. Every team there has something different. I work at one of 3 big offices. So we have the headquarters in Santa Barbara. Then we have one big office in San Diego, and then our office in Dallas. As y'all probably know, in tech, there's still whole roles that you don't even ever have to come into the office. They still have a full desk. So that was one thing that was cool as well. When I first got on, they sent me 34-inch monitor and the MacBook Air and the Magic Keyboard, the Magic Mouse that goes with Apple. And when I got to the office, I had the same setup at the office. So you get 2 of each, 2 of each thing, or except for the MacBook Pro. Or MacBook Air, obviously. So you take that back and forth, but everything else is pretty synonymous. Oh, and I got a headset as well, but I do have headphones, so I didn't have to really use that, but you get 2 sets of those too. So that's something that is pretty standard in tech companies. I will say, I think there is a difference. There are some companies that get Dells, some companies that get Microsoft, and then some companies that get Apple products. I think it really just depends on what that company wants. Brought to you by Course Careers. You've been thinking about getting into a new career and going into tech. Now is the time. Course Careers is the easiest and most cost-effective way to do it. And the best part is there's no degree required. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code. And if you want to support the channel, use the code TREY50 at checkout for $50 off. Look, everybody wins. Let's get back to the show. So let's see. First week, it was pretty fun. I was excited, didn't know what to expect. Luckily, I was coming in with one other guy, so me and him are pretty tight because we came in at the same time. And if you are in one of these roles or are getting ready to get in, you'll realize that pretty quick. Sometimes you're gonna come in with someone else or 1 or 2 other people, and y'all are gonna kind of stick together because y'all are coming up the trenches with each other. So it's pretty cool. I'm so excited that the team that I'm on everyone is for each other. Like, yeah, I came in with one other guy and we're new, but everyone treats us like we have been there. Like literally the second week on the company, I got invited to the Friendsgiving. I was just like, dang, that's crazy. They could have easily just like hid that from me because they were getting everything together in a Slack channel. And so, you know, I wouldn't have known if I missed it until they came back or whatever. But it was just cool to get invited to that. You know, yeah, you're new, but you know, we still rock with you because you're on our team. So how it's split up, the first week, we really just was learning the content, learning the things that we needed to know. That was for the first 2 weeks, really. And we spent some time on the floor, like on the sales floor where we're just kind of shadowing. So we would do some work and then go out and kind of interact with everyone. We would go to all the meetings. So any meetings that they already had set and stuff like that, we were also a part of that. And it was really just learning what we did and kind of getting those basics out of the way. Third week, we were on the phones. So actually that second week by Friday, we were starting to make our first calls. And basically what they do there is they have accounts that people want our product, our software, but they aren't quite meeting the criteria. And so we kind of practice with those, which I thought was pretty cool. It was pretty interesting. It's like, we're just not calling random people. We're not just calling fake people or not just practicing with each other. It's like, no, hey, these are real companies. We want you to have the real conversations that we, you know, the real stuff that we learn. We want y'all to implement this, but just understand that they might not be ready yet for our service. So go through it as if they are, ask the questions that need to be asked, take down the information that needs to be taken down, and then you ask certain questions that they may or may not fit yet, in the criteria yet. For us, like I said, we're in real estate, so in order to even work with us, you have to have at minimum 50 units. And so these might be companies that have 35 units or 40. And every now and then, which they told us, they're like, hey, the reason you want to take these serious is because there are going to be companies that by the time you speak with them, they've crossed over, they've added another 20 units, another 50, another 100, and now they are a good fit if they still want to be with us. And so sure enough, in the first couple weeks, I was able to, you know, get one on the board.
I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
All right, our goal when you first start is one, and I was able to get one because by the time I talked with them, they had got over 50 units and they wanted what we did. So that was pretty cool. And as I talked with other people on the team, they said the same thing. They were like, yeah, a couple of them, you know, like, yeah, that was my first one too, was with practice accounts. So that was pretty cool to see that, like, hey, the stuff that they're teaching you, it really works. Like, you know, the way you ask the questions to get these answers that are needed to be successful, it works. And so that went a long way into building my confidence and knowing, like, okay, speaking on confidence, like I said, this one may or may not be all around the board, but it's because I'm going off the head. But speaking on confidence, man, when I say that my team, they like literally root for you. Like, yes, we're competing, but it's like, yo, at the end of the day, we're still a team. And our teams are split up into two. So I have a manager here and a manager here. And then you have people on each team, right? But we all sit together. So I might sit next to someone who's on another team. And then, you know, behind me, you might sit with a higher BDR, senior BDRs. And, you know, it's just all mixed in. So you can get help if you need it or whatever. But needless to say, to bring it back again, talking about confidence, that first Friday when we were getting ready to kind of start calling, they went out in the Slack channel and was like, hey, you know, they're getting ready to start calling, send them some encouraging words. And one of the guys on the team, man, he because this was a Friday, so we were at home, but he hit me up and he was like, yo, man, you belong here. Be confident. Know that the stuff that you learned is gonna work. Just be confident. He was like, you belong here though. Trust me. They would not have hired you if they didn't think you could do this, if they didn't think you were gonna be great at it. You belong here. And it was just a few words, but again, it was just kind of really reassuring to know, like, yo, I do belong here. Like, I am that dude in a humble way, right? But that's kind of how that's been going. But after that, it took a couple weeks, and literally by the month period, like that month week, we got our territories. And so basically what that is just where you are specifically calling. So I am calling real estate companies in South Carolina and Virginia. Like, that's my territory. You might have someone else on the team who's calling nothing but, New York and New Jersey companies. So, and by the way, those are two different styles of calls, right? New York, straight to the point, might cut you off, all these things. Versus South Carolina, they might have a conversation with you, but at the same time, they might be so nice that they're just going along with what you say and then have no intention on doing anything as well. So you gotta, really learn your craft and learn how to talk to who you're talking to, which, by the way, whoever you get on with, they're gonna teach you that. They're gonna teach you what you need to know to be successful in that role, because remember, they have no reason to not do it, right? The more money you make, the more money they make. It's really that simple. So they want you to be successful. And speaking on being successful, one of the greatest things is knowing that my manager, when we first got on, they were also like, hey, I understand you're not gonna be here long. Nobody ever is. He was like, 6 to 9 months, you're gonna be on the senior BDR team, and one of those teams, and working with them. So it's my job just to kind of help cultivate you and get you ready to be successful there. I get a lot of turnover because my team does not stay with me long. And that was another thing that I was just like, cool, like, y'all get it. My goal is to be a enterprise account executive. In order to get there, you're gonna have to get promoted. And they literally, at my company, they are spot on with promoting and getting you pushed up the ladder, so to speak. It's really cool to see that. And since I've been there in this month, I've seen like 4 people get promoted. And then literally this past week, there were some senior BDRs. They were interviewing to get on to the sales team. And so if you don't know, I probably should have said this earlier at the very beginning, but BDRs, they don't really sell. My call is just to get information from you and see if there's any pain points or anything that is blocking you all from being more successful. And if we can help that or help fix that, then cool. But if not, also cool. You're just trying to vet people or vet companies to see if they are in a position to be able to get on a demo and be able to go in and get information to see if they can be a good fit for our company or your company, whoever you're with, and then go from there. So no selling as a BDR, is just really vetting companies and then pushing them into a meeting that then they can actually get sold or actually purchase the product and all that. But you don't really sell anything there. It's just, you're an information gatherer, really. And that's cool because you can start there, and then it's one of the hardest jobs in the company, but it's also really fulfilling knowing that, hey, I'm doing this job and I'm doing good at it, or I'm doing this job and I'm learning the ins and outs of the company. So when I do get up to an account executive and I'm actually selling, then I actually have some extensive background knowledge that I can pull from when I need to, if the conversation ends up going there. So that's why I'm embracing the role, really trying to learn everything that I need to learn to be successful at this job, and just really pushing forward. And so far it's been good. Like I said, it's been a month, and I'm just really having a great time